Okay, finally a game. Hi everyone, Stepan here. I've been waiting for a long time to get this game. I've waited for like 20 minutes, believe it or not. Okay, my opponent plays e6, and that means that he would like to go d5. Now what do I do? Okay, the Agincourt defense. What do I transpose into? I could again transpose with e4 into a French defense, but I don't want to, so I'm just gonna go knight c3. And now the main line is to take and go d4. Alternatively, I can maybe try e3, which is playable. g3 is not as common. And on knight f6, I could go for the Mykonos. Okay, he plays d5. Now I could go e3. But I think the best way to deal with this is to take and go d4. So I'm gonna do that. I think that's the best way to play. My opponent is rated 2400, so I should stick to the opening principles and the main ideas here. Now we've transposed to the exchange variation of the Queen's Gambit declined. So we're going to do that. We have a Carlsbad structure where after c6, Queen c2, we have the main lines of this position. And I mean, to be honest, I think this is what I'm going to be doing in my repertoire, so I want to stick to what I'll actually be playing. I may find a more pleasant way to fight against this, but... And for now, which is funny, people have mostly been avoiding the English. I haven't had a single mainline English in all 3 training games. I had the Botvinnik's system in 1 game, which ended up losing, but that was the closest we ever got to the English. Okay, e3. I haven't played this in quite some time. I'm going to try to go for the minority attack. h6 is playable, but I feel like it's a mistake. Because now on knight f8 eventually, so castles, rook e8, knight f8, I will have knight e5 unopposed, where knight g6 will not be a possibility. I actually talked about this with a friend of mine. Okay, but yeah, in this case, that's fine. So I should just take, I think. And now knight f3 or knight e2 is always the question in these positions. I feel like knight f3 should be better. Does he have c5? I don't think so. Does he have knight f4? He does have knight f4. So maybe I need to go knight e2. Maybe knight e2 is the principled way to play. I'm preparing f3, e4. I'm kind of confused about this position because I'm not sure about knight f4. Okay, I'll just go knight e2 to prevent knight f4. Because I don't want to give up my light squared bishop, and f3, e4 is a common way to play this position. My opponent is higher rated than me, so he probably knows what he's doing, since this has never been my repertoire, ever. I did play it in a tournament game last year, and they drew an international master, but he played something weird. I don't even remember. I think he played with an early a6, sorry, or b6. I don't remember. I know that it wasn't here. Okay, looking at c4 straight away. I actually think this is what the international master played, but his knight wasn't on h5. I don't know what to think about this. I'm not afraid of knight c4, and I would like to play f3, e4. I could go e4 straight away, but I want to castle first. Are there any kingside attack problems after queen g5? Castles, queen g5, threatening bishop h3, in which case I have knight g3. So that should be okay. On knight c4, I don't think he's threatening anything, so I'll just castle. I find this setup very confusing. I don't know what black is trying to do. I don't understand it. And I'm pretty sure this is what I faced in the Hvar Open. Now before the bishop develops, I don't have b4. I could go a4. That seems interesting. a4 with the idea of a5, but he's gonna play a5. And if I go rook b1, then a5, a3, b4 cannot be stopped. However, I did give up the c4 square, which in positions where I don't have knight d2, because my knight is on e2, isn't as good. Now I could throw in a tempo to misplace his king to h8, and then I could go bishop f5 with tempo on the knight. I don't know if that's useful or not. I could also go e4, trying to exploit his queen. So kind of like the plan of rook a e1 and e4. So I'm gonna do that. I like that. I have to play for e4 in this position because my knight is on e2. This is the common way to fight for the center. f3, e4 is the central pawn break. Now I do know something about the exchange Queen's Gambit declined, but I don't know a lot. And I think I understand the position well, but for some reason there are always some move order problems in every game I play. So now I think it's obvious that I'm playing for e4 now that my f-rook cannot develop. Okay, if I go e4 straight away, has to take, pawn takes, knight takes. I have the c4 square, I have an isolated pawn on d4, and my idea is to play knight c5 and then knight c3 with pressure on his queen. I don't think I have to prepare e4, I think I can just play it, although f3 seems more natural, but I don't see a good way to defend my e3 pawn. So I'm kind of tempted to go e4 straight away, going for an IQP position. So e4, d4, knight e4. I'm giving up the d5 square, and he may have knight b4, but after knight c5, knight b4, queen d2, defending the f4 square seems okay. Alternatively, if I go f3, trying to play e4 without giving up the d5 square, what can I do? I could go queen c1. Queen c1, let's say rook a8, f3, followed by e4. Does he have pressure on d4 there? I don't think so. Queen c1 seems like a waste of time if I can play e4 immediately. e4, d4. I could even consider bishop e4. Ooh. Bishop e4. So either queen c1 supporting e3 or e4 straight away. I think I'm just gonna go e4 straight away. I don't want to lose time. I think I'm prepared. He basically has to take. I don't think he can ever get away with allowing me to take because my pieces are superior, or allowing me to play e5 because then he loses the knight to g4. Okay, he takes. I'm gonna take with the knight because I don't want to capture on d5. This is an IQP position in which I have no idea who is better, to be honest. I know that knight f6 is an option for him, so is knight d5, and that gives away the f4 square. However, after knight d5, knight e c3, knight b4, queen b1, knight d3, or sorry, knight 2 to c3, knight d3. I may have a useful discovery, although I don't see one. I still think e4 was the principled move. I know that e4 is usually prepared with f3, but I just thought that queen c1 was a waste of time. Although now that I think about it, queen c1 wasn't a waste of time, because queen c1 prepares bishop b1, queen c2, gets away from knight b4 and controls the f4 square. So yeah, now I change my mind. Queen c1 was better. If I could turn back time, I would play queen c1. Yeah, okay, this is less safe than queen c1 because I wasn't in a hurry and I wouldn't have given up the d5 square. So now I'm not too happy with my position. I gave up two important squares and I'm gonna have to play prophylactic moves like a3, and that's not good. And I can never play g3 because of bishop h3 winning the exchange, because I trapped my own rook on f1. I do have knight c5 though. Knight c5 is a pleasant move because his bishop is fairly restricted. Knight c5, if knight d5, knight c5, knight b4. If knight d5, maybe I can play a3, but then he plays b6. Knight d5, knight c5, knight b4, queen b1, knight d3, queen d3. Bishop e6. Whoa, what? What does that do? I don't get queen h4. What's the threat? He wants to play knight f4? Yeah, I'm not gonna go g3. I'm not stupid. So I like knight c5, freeing up my pieces. And also then I'll have the idea of rook e4 or rook e7 later on. So I'm just gonna go knight c5. I like knight c5. Is there a threat? Because I don't see one. If he goes bishop g4, I'm just gonna play f3. Maybe bishop c8 is forced. I don't know, but it disconnects the rooks. And after bishop c8, I can go knight c3. And if he plays queen takes d4, do I have a way to justify that pawn sacrifice? I'm not too sure. So maybe I don't have to give up the pawn. Usually the IQP provides the e5 square. In this case, my knight has the c5 square. So that's also useful. I don't understand queen h4. Because I'm just threatening to take on b7. I don't think he had time for this. And even if he does play knight f4, so what? I can just open up my rook. If bishop c8 and then something, and then knight f4 takes rook e7. I think I'm much better here. Opponent is 2401, I'm 2307. I don't think I've played many people over 2400. Like the last game I got a person under 2200, I think, 2100 something. I'm pretty sure I'm better. I mean, the fact that he has this weak pawn on b7 may not be too important, but the fact that I'm chasing the bishop away is. That seems extremely relevant. Wow, he just gives up the pawn. Should I not take that? What happens if I take? He goes rook e6. But rook f6 isn't going anywhere. I think I'll just take the pawn. I mean, I don't see why not. Yeah, I'll just take the pawn. I mean, why wouldn't I? I'm pawn up. I don't see compensation for this. Maybe this was better than retreating the bishop all the way to c8. But now, if I trade queens, this c6 pawn is just dreadful. Also on knight f4, queen f4, I have... Wait, what's the threat? The threat is bishop h3. That seems kind of far-fetched. He wants to play bishop h3. I see that. What if I go queen c5? Where does the queen go? If I go queen c5, am I just winning? No, he has knight d5. Don't be stupid, Stepan. He has knight d5. But I do, however, have knight g3 followed by bishop f5. Okay, knight g3, knight f4. No threat, I think. Knight g3, knight f4, bishop f5. I like that. I'm gonna do that. I don't see why I wouldn't do that. I understand that I'm giving up f4, but I'm getting f5. That's gotta be worth something. I think you should have played d5. I don't think this was a good idea. I mean, if you've seen my game from the other day, where I was a piece up and I lost, when people try to attack me like maniacs, I often get into time trouble and or blunder. What happened in that game? So maybe this strategy is his best attempt, because in any normal position, I'm just a pawn up with good king safety and active pieces. So I don't see any other option for him. But knight g3 seems to defend everything. Knight f4... Is knight f4 really scary? Because I'm gonna go bishop f5. That forces a trade and gets my queen to f5. Also, I'm on the e file, so no problems there. And I'm ahead on the clock. What does he do? I think he has to take and try for h5, h4. I don't think he can allow me control of f5. But then again, he doesn't want to trade pieces. And okay, knight f4, bishop f5. The only thing I have to make sure is that knight h3 doesn't work, but I don't think it works. Because I don't even lose the exchange. Bishop f5, knight h3, I can just go bishop h3. Okay, so bishop f5. This has to work. I want to go queen f5 and trade queens. because he doesn't have a retreat square for the queen other than h4, because my knight is covering d8 and my rook is covering e7. So he would have to go queen h4. Now let's make sure knight h3 doesn't work. Knight e2 doesn't work. Wait, are we sure that knight e2 doesn't work? I have to take anyway, otherwise I lose a piece. Knight e2, king h1. Okay, no, it doesn't work. Okay, good. Pawn up. What does this do? Oh, it threatens g6, but not really. I have a check. I don't think this works. My pawn on d4 is defended sufficiently. Okay, he wants to go knight d2, threatening my f1 rook, trapping my f1 rook. So I have to defend the b2 pawn and defend that threat, but I don't think that's possible. So I think I have to initiate a trade. I think I have to go knight to d6, forcing knight takes. Otherwise he has to go knight d2. Yeah, I'm just gonna trade knights. And I can again safely return to f5. Because his rook isn't free to move, he has to defend the knight. Okay. Now I have to defend the pawn. So let's just defend the pawn. On g6 I take on h6. On rook f6 I take on e2. On rook d8 I go rook d1. I think I'm not losing anything, so I should just be a pawn. Okay, b3 gives up the b2 square. But I feel like I have to do it, because otherwise... Oh, rook b4 is coming anyway. b3, rook b4 anyway. b3, rook b4, rook d1, rook f6. Rook f6, I may have rook e7 check, or knight e7 check. Oh, okay. And if I go rook b1, he has rook f6. If I go rook b1, he has rook f6. So I don't really want to go rook b1. But I don't see any other option but to go b3. So I'm going to go b3. I'm expecting rook b4, rook d1. Although he may also play rook b5. Jesus. Moron. I'm an idiot. So, do I have to get away with g4 to save the pawn? Because I don't really want to go g4. I could go knight d6, rook d6, rook e2 with a slightly better rook endgame. Knight d6, rook d6. Yeah, but knight d6 he plays rook d5. Never mind. Yeah, I was expecting rook b4 for some reason. I wasn't expecting rook d5. Can I go g4? No, because on g6, rook knight h6 check, king g7 wins the knight. I no longer have the g4 square as a retreat square. So d5. Okay. On rook d5, I have nothing. On cd5, I can take on e2 and play knight d4, but that's just bad. So I may have to give up a pawn in some way, although I don't know how. I mean, I have to give up a pawn, but I don't know how. Knight g3 seems passive. I want to get to c4. So I think knight e3, knight d4, knight c4 is my best attempt. So I'm going to do that. Knight e3, knight d4, knight c4. I have to give up the pawn. I don't think there's another way to play. At least now I have a slightly better pawn structure. And my knight is defended. And I'm preventing rook a5. And rook e5, of course. I'm down on the clock, but not by much. A minute. Probably there was a better way to play this position. I'm not sure there was a way to keep the pawn, but yeah, now I was thinking knight e3. Just to force the knight back, because I don't see anything better, because I cannot live with this knight. So yeah, knight e3 forcing the knight back, and on knight f4, knight c4. Knight e3, knight f4, knight c4. Okay, I'm gonna do that. And if he plays knight to c3, knight c3 is a problem. Why didn't I see knight c3? Idiot. I'm an idiot. I didn't even see knight c3. I have to defend with rook a1. This is dreadful. I've just allowed him to improve his pieces significantly. Knight e3 was an idiotic move. But at least I get my other rook into play. That's the bright side. And my knight isn't bad on e3. It's preventing infiltrations on e2. Okay. He wants to go rook e2. So knight takes. I'm expecting rook takes, because if pawn takes, then rook e1. I'm expecting rook takes. So knight d5, rook d5. Rook e1 takes, rook d2. And white is better, so I can never do that, meaning that I should not trade knights. However, if I don't trade knights, how do I keep control of e2? I would have to go rook f e1, but then he goes rook e2, and I have to go king g1. Wow, not good. That's not good. I could offer a pawn trade with rook c1, rook a c1, knight takes, pawn takes, rook c6, rook a2, no, rook e2, and then, sorry, wait, rook c1, knight e3, f e3, rook e3, rook c6, rook e2. What's that endgame like? I don't know, but my rook is tied down in the corner. I have a 2-to-1 pawn majority, which I'm not too happy about. But I still think that's my best. If I take the knight, I'm just worse. So I need to seek counterplay. An active rook is the best defense in rook endgame. definitely. So I'm just offering a pawn trade, and if he isn't careful on rook e2, I may have rook c7, double attacking f7 and a7, because after knight takes knight, I open up my f1 rook. Because if I can play back knight to c4, then the only problem I'm facing is rook e2. Also, I may not have to play... Okay, he takes. Good. He could defend the pawn first. Okay. Now I need to defend my second rank. However, if I play rook f2, then he takes. And I cannot take on c6 because I'm getting mated. So I'm gonna have to go rook c2, rook c2, rook e3, rook c6. Okay, I'm gonna go h3. I need to make some loft for my king. And even though he has rook d2, I think I had to do this. I don't think I had any other option. So now rook c3, rook a2, rook fc1. He does have rook a6. I really cannot play rook a1, that's the problem. And if I go a4, he plays rook d3. So I think rook c3 is my only move. Ooh, does he have rook g6? Maybe, but then I have rook g1. I'm getting outplayed in this rook endgame by a very large margin. This is my source of counterplay, I have to do it. I messed up this endgame so badly. I was a pawn up. How am I a pawn down? Jesus. I think it's still a draw though. Rook c6, rook e3, rook 6 to c3, rook e2, rook g6, rook e2, rook g3, h5, h4 should be okay. I mean, it's gonna be 3 against 2 on the king side, but I can hold that, I think. I'm expecting rook e2, I don't see another move. And I'm gonna get counterplay with rook c8 check later on. At least my rooks are active. I don't think the fact that he has a 3-2 is enough to win. So let's just do this. And then get behind the pawn. And then play Rook A7 with pressure on F7. Because now I'm threatening B4 and Rook A7. And I'm out of coffee. And I have 2 minutes on the clock. Wow, G5, okay. G5. What if I go H4? H4, if he takes, I'm threatening mate on G7. Or no, I'm not, there's a pawn on F7. Again, don't be stupid. B4, A4. Rook A7, Rook B2. Okay, I'm gonna go Rook A7 first. To prevent Rook B2, Rook FB2, because then I have Rook F3. Okay. Now H4 seems good to me. So I'm gonna go H4. And I have to start playing quickly. And I also have to weaken his king. Well, let's see where his king wants to end up. This doesn't seem safe to me. Okay, let's see. I'm not sure he can go king h5. Really? Ah, he has g4 on king h2. Okay, I need to play quickly, or else I'm gonna lose. Now I'm threatening check, check. Okay. Does he have g4 here? Or do I have to play rook h3? King h2, g4. He does have g4. Damn. But there is no alternative to king h2. Yeah, g4 comes. Now what do I do? I'm getting crushed. Let's check the king away. And let's go back, preventing f4. Ooh, this is a nice move. That's a nice move. I have to take nonetheless. I have no idea what this is. If this is a theoretical draw, then maybe it is. I don't know if it is or not. But I feel like I should play king g1. No, on king g1 he has... I need to get behind. No, he has a check now. Jesus, I'm an idiot. He has rook b1 check. No, I just resign now. Rook b1 check followed by f2 and resigns. Yeah. Good game. Oh, I got destroyed so badly. Okay, great game by my opponent. I'm not happy, of course. I'm going to be analyzing this game later on. I don't really have the energy now. This time trouble endgame wrecked me. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more chess. Bye bye.